just a bullshit equation. And the solution is basically if... Yeah, my brain's just not really functioning at this point. If the dot is basically bigger than a certain amount, then we just want to set it to 1. Alright, let's follow it through real quick and see what I'm missing. It's basically if the dot product is larger than a small number, it's basically if it's between, and we just do the multiply. Alright. So it's going to be if the dot product is -1, if it's 1 minus the dot product. Is it 1 minus the dot product? This again is 1 minus this value. If, God, freaking music does not function. Alright, so we have the small value and we subtract it from 1. So if this value is larger than that, then let's just have like a constant here. If a is greater than b, then we should have 1. If a is less than b, then we should have 0. We'll just pop that through real quick. So that's 1.0 minus. This is just a constant value. Alright, so that's going to be like 1.0 minus 0.8, so it's going to be pretty small. So as it gets up, yeah, so it's going to be the distance from this. So it'll be 1 minus this value will be a very small number. So we just want the dot product itself. We don't actually want to subtract it. So this will give us our inner radius here. Yeah, if A is greater than B, if the dot product is greater than B, then we want... Oh, what the... So the question is, why is this inner circle a 0? The 0 should be applied when A is less than B, so the dot product is less than 1 minus a small number. I mean, if I just throw a constant out here, should be when it's less than 0. When A is greater than B. When A is greater than 0.97. It's because we're inverting it. Alright, so we have the celestial size right there. Alright, so we'll give it to 1. Alright, otherwise what we need is to map from these values here. Let's see. So we've got the 1 correct, now we just need the 0. Alright, so if we go from 1 to 0 to -1, so when the dot product is equal to 1 minus this value, 1 minus this value, we want it to be 1, and we want it to be, well, we want it to be 0, and when it's, yeah. It's basically a remap of this value. Well, let's see if they have a remap node. Maybe I don't know the name of it. So let's see, can we actually add different nodes to this thing? Let's see. Inside of our macros or whatever, we have gameplay, we have macros. Can we make like a right, creating material functions, materials, new materials, material function? Material function. Material function is a collection of material expressions that can be reused. Alright, so material function, so let's just say shared material functions. And we'll see if we can mess with some of these. Well, how do we get inputs to this thing? I mean, this is a parameter, but how do we take these as input? Alright, so we have function input. Alright, here we go. Alright, so we can make ourselves a remap function here. That's what it looks like. Yeah, thank you, Johnny Ree. I was just reading documentation as opposed to chat. Alright, so input name, this is going to be our So we'll have low 1, low 2, high 1 and high 2. Alright, and low 2 is going to be this will just be 1, 1, 1. And these will be, yeah, 0, 0, 0, 0, and then 1, 1, 1, 1 for the defaults. And we also need the input value, so the current value. What's the sort priority? Controls where the input is displayed relative to other inputs. Alright, so this one should be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's probably a better bet. I don't know. Chat can be helpful sometimes. Chat can be horribly unhelpful at other times. So, yeah, we'll just get the remap node thing for us here. And of course I can just pull up Stack Overflow and be like, hey, give me the values, so I don't have to think about anything. Which is always fun. Alright. Is there a function output? Yeah, and that's just output result. Blah. Output result, we're going to call it value. And it's going to be a scalar and all that. Alright, so in order to do this, it's going to be, we'll add low 2. And we subtract value minus low 1. And then we add this in there. Well, order of operations actually. We need to subtract high 2 minus low 2. And multiply. And then we need to divide the whole thing by high 1 minus low 1. Alright, let's see how that works. And can we name this function? Or is it just shared material functions? Material function remap. So if we go to our test sky, does remap show up? I don't see it showing up. Expose the library. That's such a... But I just made it. Why wouldn't I want it exposed to the library? Alright, so it's all saved in there, and maybe we need to just reopen that thing. That other thing not saved? Like I wanted the celestial toggle. I wanted the halo toggle to be by default 0. Didn't save. Stupid halo toggle. No, it's not showing up. Well, I can at least drag it in there. It's called shared material function. Yeah, I guess it... Yeah, that's kind of not fun. So we actually have to call it what we want it to be called. Yeah, the material function doesn't actually get used. Kind of silly, but alright. Alright, so this is the value, and the low value is going to be... Alright, this is going to go from 0... Alright, is high 2 set up properly? No. Alright, we'll save all that. Default value 1, default value 0, 1 and 0, excellent. Yeah, description and category, I guess, yeah, description and category, and so I'm not reading things. It'll go from 0 to 1 to 0 to 1, which is what it does. Alright, so we want to go from... It's basically this 1.0 minus these two values, and we want to go from so this value is going to be like 0.8 and the other value will be 0.7. So this is going to be the low one, and this will be the high one. Looks like it might need to be multiplied by itself. Oh, we've got that gigantic ring in the sky. Just because we can. It's the sign. It's not the sign here because this will cut that off. What we want is this right here to cut off. So it's the sign of this dot product minus like that. And of course it's way too big. So let's see, we had .006 and maybe like .005. So something along those lines. So let's see, the celestial size here is the thing that's actually going to mess with this. So let's just tune it a little bit more. Let's make it really extreme so we can see exactly how it's being used. Alright, I need to pull that in just a little bit more. Just like that. Alright, let's tune that inner circle. Alright, so that's the hard circle edge. Then we can make that bigger and smaller in small increments. Alright, so that's looking alright. So we can basically have a little bit of a halo running around there. Alright, cool. So we were able to mess around with that just a bit and get it to work. So we should be able to increase like the celestial size. The hell is that? And that'll scale properly with the size of our moon. So, alright. I mean, it's slow incremental progress, but you know, it's progress. You know, getting the shadows in there, getting the sky in there. The lighting is starting to really come together. So while we finish this off here, and basically how we're going to finish it off is we are going to organize this stuff just a little bit more than the horrible, awful mess that we have at the moment. So we learned a lot of stuff, like that we can actually make functions that we can call from different places. Learning a bit more patterns that I need to use as well. That's looking better. And we're going to convert this guy to a parameter, and that's going to be this will be the cloud lighting. We have the celestial size, and what we're going to want is some sort of multiplier for the inner and outer circles, I think. I'll have like a cloud. We need another constant in here. And we should have another multiply. For both of these values. Alright, so we'll have this called the cloud radius. Cloud light radius. Default value here should be 1. Yeah, let's make sure that our material is looking correct. Yeah. Doing what it should. So let's go to our blueprint for our object and add those values to it. Alright, so we're going to want clouds. Let's duplicate this guy, and it's going to be cloud light multiplier. And we're going to duplicate that again, and we're going to get the cloud light radius. I feel like I'm playing Diablo 2. Light radius sorts of things. Alright, so the cloud lighting should be from like, 0 to 10 or 0 to 20 or something like that. Alright, so the light multiplier, let's just do it from 0 to 10. And this will be how bright the light is on the clouds. Default value is going to be 1, or let's just do 5. Cloud light radius is going to be a default of 1, so we're going to go from a slider range of 0 to like 3 or something. How big the cloud light radius is. Alright, so we'll save all that. And we go to our update shader parameters, go to our clouds. We'll be able to set our stuff here. So we get our light multiplier, we get our light radius, and let's get our names here. So this one is cloud lighting. And this one is cloud light radius. Alright, we'll compile and save that. And now what we should be able to do is go to our cloud stuff, and we should be able to make that super bright or not bright, change the radius as we want. Alright, cool, so we can do things. Not bad. Alright, is there anything else that we can do quickly? We could start working on the sunset or sunrise stuff. We're going to want a toggle for daytime, because if we adjust our day-night cycle here and go to noon, well, that actually looks fine, having a bit of a bleed through on the clouds, doesn't it? So I'm not really too worried about that. Well, let's take a look at how it looks with the day advancing. Yeah, it looks fine. Of course, we'll do the lighting stuff for, you know, light during the day being brighter or different color and all that. That definitely looks like what I would expect. Alright, cool. Well, I've been working longer than I've actually been streaming today. So I think I'm going to call it here, because otherwise I'm going to not be able to work tomorrow. Because it'll already be tomorrow. Anyway, so I think that pretty much does it then. So thanks for sticking around, and I hope everybody has a good day. Enjoy the rest of your whatever day it is. And if you're in America, enjoy your 4th of July. If you're not in America, enjoy your 4th of July anyway, but you don't have to celebrate our independence if you don't want to. But you can. Go light some fireworks off. They're fun. Anyway. Actually, don't do that if it's illegal. Only do it if it's legal. Anyway, have a good one. So, I will sign off from here.